Well, hello, my lovelies. I am René Daniella, and welcome to video 1 of a 100 video challenge I am doing, basically to see can creativity, consistency, and long form storytelling pay for the rent of my dream New York City apartment. And I'm talking high-rise building, Manhattan skyline views, gym, doorman, pool, you name it, all the fixings. And so, yes, as crazy as that sounds, the reality is people are doing it every single day, and I am in my why not me era. And if any of you have any projects or passions that you have been putting off because you're intimidated or you're procrastinating or whatever the case, I need you to join me in the why not me era, and let's get on it. And now for a little bit of background about myself. I am a full-time content creator. I have been doing this for the last 10 years, making multi-six figures, primarily on Instagram, but also Facebook, TikTok, Threads. And then I have had this YouTube platform for the last 9 years, I think. But at the end of the day, I've only posted on it sporadically, and that's because I was always intimidated by YouTube. The idea of doing long form content honestly gave me a little bit of anxiety because of this idea of like, I'm talking to camera. Will I know what to say? Does anybody want to hear what I have to say? Will I fumble over my words? Will I speak clearly? Will the production value be okay? Will my audio quality be fine? Will the lighting be good? Like, I had every question in the book, and I was always like, I'll get to YouTube eventually. I want to do it, but first let me get all the right equipment and let me get all the practice in and let me get good at editing, and then I can do it. So why now? Why am I finally like, let's do this challenge? Well, shout out my friend Glow or Glow Graphics. If you do not know her, please check out her platform. She's an incredible entrepreneur, creator, coach. She does so much beautiful work online, and she did this challenge herself. She did it last year in August, I think, and she's been doing it since. So she's managed to keep up with it. But what she has shared is that, one, in order to be successful, she did this challenge and she didn't focus on perfection. She focused on consistency. And that honestly unlocked something in my brain. She was like, I didn't focus on the production quality. I didn't focus on any fancy editing. She just sat her camera up like I am now, and she spoke from the heart and shared her real life experiences and advice and tips. And that's what she did for her first 100 videos. And now at her 6-month mark, she's been able to hit a 10K month from AdSense, which is basically an ad revenue share that YouTube pays the creators for the ads that play on their videos. And like I said in the beginning, I would like to live bicoastal between New York and LA. And as a homeowner in LA, the idea of adding a New York City rent to my Los Angeles mortgage payment every month sounds absolutely insane and quite honestly irresponsible, unless I was able to do it incredibly strategically. And by strategically, I mean kind of finding some way that it might pay for itself or offset the cost. So with that mindset, I will say, as a homeowner, when I bought this house, I was slightly intimidated by the fact that I was jumping from originally paying about $3,200 a month for my loft or one-bedroom apartment that I've had in LA before, being a homeowner, to paying over double. We're going to be honest and transparent here. My mortgage is about $7,500 a month. But of course, I get more bang for my buck. I have a 3-bedroom house as well as a guest house instead of a 1-bedroom apartment. But at the same time, that's still over double from what I was paying before. So 2 things I've been able to do to offset the cost of my mortgage, which if anybody is interested in finding some creative ways to cover their mortgage cost, please listen in. I hope these tips are helpful. But one, I've been able to rent out my ADU or my guest house by putting it on Furnished Finder as well as Airbnb. And Furnished Finder is great because it's a platform that a lot of traveling professionals use, like traveling nurses or people in corporate. So I've had continuous tenants from Furnished Finder, like traveling nurses, who have booked out my ADU. I've also had a couple of bookings on Airbnb, but I'll admit Furnished Finder has definitely been a lot more helpful. And that's about $3,000 a month, which is great. That covers a big portion of my mortgage. And then additionally, because I decorated this house so colorfully and so unique with so much character, and to be honest, I don't even think you have to do all that either. Just have a nice aesthetic house. I'm sure neutral aesthetics work just as well, but I've been able to list my house for production rentals. So I put it on a site called Peerspace, and anybody who's doing social media shoots or commercial shoots or TV shows even, they can book your space through that site. You can also rent your space for event productions and some additional things, but I just list it for video production shoots. So yeah, I've been able to rent it out, and each of those bookings have been between $1,500 and $2,000. So even just one of those a month means my out-of-pocket cost for my rent that month, including the ADU rental, is going to be less than what I used to pay for my apartment. And I'll admit, I don't get a ton of production bookings because I do live here full time, so I'm not trying to constantly have to get up and get out of this house. But if I was living by coastal between New York and LA, and I was staying in New York more, I would absolutely feel way more comfortable pushing my home on Peerspace. But all in all, it gives me a pretty good idea of ways that I can make my LA house kind of pay for itself a little bit. And so with that same mentality, I'm like, what can I do to to make my New York City apartment pay for itself in some capacities. And that brings me back to the main focus of this video, which is why am I doing a 100 video challenge to see if YouTube could pay for my New York City rent. And so when I reference my New York apartment in this sense, it would be the content I'd be able to create around it. So from apartment hunting in New York to moving process, to the decor and interior design process, to documenting and sharing the full-on bicoastal lifestyle of living in New York City and LA and what that experience is like. I could absolutely create some really fun and entertaining series documenting those different topics. And of course, the challenge requires a lot of time and effort and work. So if we're not successful at generating this $6,000 or $7,000 a month from here on YouTube from AdSense, then I still think this challenge and process will be worth it for a number of reasons. First and foremost, as a full-time creator who's been making multi-six figures for the last 5, 6, 7 years, I have been desperately wondering, what do I have to do to make the leap from a 6-figure to a 7-figure creator? And as I've done research and looked into different things, there are a lot of contributing factors, but I've definitely noticed a common denominator is that a lot of the 7-figure creators and influencers that I'm aware of, they all have a YouTube presence. So at the bare minimum, reviving my YouTube platform should at least support me in that endeavor of making more money overall as a content creator and an influencer. And then additionally, I have always wanted to have a travel series. As an avid traveler, I'm so passionate about exploring the world and sharing those stories. And I am also a free diver, and I've always wanted to do like a little mini series, 6 or 8 episodes where I go to different beautiful destinations around the world and I go diving with sea life, such as whales or whale sharks or manta rays or actual sharks and beautiful coral reef systems. And I would love to be able to document that and share that on my platforms. And I would love to have that professionally produced and shared to the world, to inspire people who look like me in the underwater space, to explore, to go diving, to love the ocean, to learn how to swim. But if I'm being honest with myself, if I was given a show today, I don't know that I'd feel that confident and comfortable presenting and hosting on camera for something as big as a show or a series. And while I've actually been approached a few times about doing a TV series, which, I'm so grateful that I was ever even on somebody's radar for such an opportunity, again, I don't feel that I'm 100% ready to go on camera. So through this challenge, I absolutely think I'll be able to get more confident and comfortable on camera, get more familiar with sharing my personality, with figuring out what I want to talk about and how I want to say it. And I feel like that's an invaluable skill. And honey, if we're talking about skills, just the simple skill of being able to shoot and edit long form videos is incredibly helpful, whether you're working with big brands, little brands, whether you're just self-producing content that you want to put out on your platforms to help grow and reach new audiences. This is a truly helpful skill and something that I am not that great at yet, but I absolutely think through this process and through this challenge, I am going to learn so much about video production and video editing, from sound, from lighting, from storytelling, from structuring videos, from understanding how to get a good hook, how to capture your audience's attention, how to maintain your audience's attention. I feel like all of those things are super helpful and super important when it comes to making impactful videos. So if I don't reach my financial goals of this challenge, I will still walk away with some great skills that I'll have learned. And the final benefit I'll share is I'm just excited to document 2026. I feel like there's so much potential to this year. I feel like I'm in such a space of change and growth and evolution, and I've got these big dreams that I'm excited to explore and see if I can bring them to life. And I'd love to be able to look back on 2026 and be able to see all of the beautiful travels that I'm doing, to see all of the different projects that I'm working on, and to have so many memories documented on video that I can save. And on top of that, by documenting this journey, I really hope that it influences those who are watching, any of you guys in my audience who might be on a similar path, or you might have some passions that you're ready to pursue, or you might have some big changes that you're a little intimidated by. And after watching some of my content, you might also be inspired to kind of take that leap and take some of those first steps to go on these new adventures for yourself as well. Because quite honestly, life is so short. We literally have this one go round to do all the things that we want to do. And I just really want to make sure that I am living freely and openly and following my actual passions and my actual dreams. And this is a bucket list thing for me, living in New York again. I lived in New York in my undergrad and absolutely loved it, but I have always wanted to go back and do the grown and sexy Sex and the City version. And I'm single, and I think dating is better in New York. If you feel otherwise, feel free to let me know in the caption. I would love to hear your feedback about dating in New York, because I've had a few of these conversations, and I don't know what it is, dating in LA in comparison to New York, like it's just not the same. The men, they don't really approach you the same out here as they do in New York. I feel like they're just way more intentional, way more swag to it, way more confident. That's 100% something for another video. Don't let me go on a tangent. But yeah, I think I've explained this challenge pretty well and my reason behind doing it. And yeah, if anyone's watching this, please just know if you are interested in becoming a content creator or working in this space, there is so much money. I know I'm getting back into the YouTube space, so I can't speak on this as much, but I can definitely speak about the other platforms and Instagram and TikTok. And beyond the fact that there's so much money in this space, there's also a lot of free things. There's a lot of perks of the job, whether that's going to be free giftings, clothing, whether that's be event invites and trips. I've gone on 5-star luxury trips where I get a +1 and I get to bring them on a life-changing experience, and it's all covered and provided for through doing this, through working in social media and creating content. So I definitely want you guys to keep that in mind. But okay, I feel like I have shared everything that we need in this video and I don't want to make it too long. Please, if you have any questions for me, I need all the content ideas for this 100 video challenge. We've got 99 videos to go, guys. So if you've got any questions for me, or you want some insights on something, or you want me to do a video on a particular topic, leave it in the comments for me and I will try to slot it in and build a video around it if I can. Oh, and then of course, if you have any words of encouragement, I would love that as well. Like I said, I'm feeling a little anxious. This is a little bit new for me. I'm getting back into it. So yeah, if you've got any words of encouragement or any positive feedback, please also leave that in the comments for me, and that will just lift my spirits and help keep me motivated. So yeah, make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe and stay tuned. Okay, I think that's everything for today. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.